Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Redemption HQ, the premier Everyday Heroes podcast. Featured here on YouTube, so make sure to hit like, subscribe. You can email us at egggoons at gmail.com. Make sure to do so because we will read your fan mail when we get the email, so we get to read that out loud. And today we're going to be focusing on part two for strong heroes. And I apologize for everybody if you can hear all the crickets and cicadas that's going on in the background. My house is being a little too loud, so I'm going to take it outside. But today I am joined by my lovely co-hosts, and if they'd like to introduce themselves, they can go on ahead.
Got Harlan
Right.
Reaver right over here.
Spectral Force live from his couch.
And Robert D., sometimes called Athos, from his couch.
And I am Brobarian, surrounded by nature, underneath the night sky, watching bats fly.
Is that like when doves fly, but at night?
Yeah, but with vengeance.
With a vengeance.
There's an action movie title right
He's a
there.
vengeful guy, Brobarian. Not at all.
Well, yeah, these mosquitoes deserve it.
Spectral, on the other hand, maybe.
So today we're going to be focusing on the classes of the Brutal Warrior, the Street Warrior, and the Mutant Giant. Uh, we're going to be kind of flipping through three of the cinematic adventures, but as well as the Vault book.
Yeah, all these classes come to us from those cinematic adventures that Evil Genius Games compiled the player options for, free of particular IP nuts and bolts in the Vault Compendium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really shaves it all down for the for what you need. Takes away anything that aligns it directly with whatever cinematic adventure. Like we did on our character creation episode. You know, I did the Bonded Twins, which came out of the God damn it, what is it called?
Pacific
Rim book.
Rim.
Yes, which it has an ability that is specific to drifting in the Pacific Rim movie. They just plucked that right out and made the Bonded Twins playable in any setting that you choose, homebrew or otherwise. I love the Vault, man. The Vault is I love like supplementing the in any game, like any of that extra that you got your core rule book. Anytime someone's like, we're playing any game where they're like, all right, it's just the core rule book. For some reason, I feel shortchanged when there's a supplementary book available. I'm like, well, I really just want to pull off of the B sides almost, but it's like the strongest tracks are right there.
I have to agree with you. Growing up playing second edition AD&D, I had gone out and got some of the different handbooks for the different classes. And it took years for me to convince my DM to let me play a variant ranger versus just the standard out of the PHB. Like, no, we're going to do all classes out of the PHB handbook. I don't like anything else but PHB. So finally, I wore them down. But for quite a few years, it's like then again, you did need your 4 basic classes, but there's so many other options. Every class had a book to go with it for variant options.
Oh yeah,
So
that's right.
I'm on board with more books. Like my 5e collection is ridiculous for the various third-party books because look, there's new. I actually got one. There's new feet, 100 new feet, and then character options. Like, so I love when companies put out more source books. So I mean, we've got um, the armory next up. So now we're gonna have a whole bunch of different guns and melee weapons to choose from for variation.
Yeah,
You know,
I've got that backed, and I'm ready for that when that's all ready to show up at my door. I've always looked at, you get your core rule book, and it's like, here's all the things that we are like, they're like, "Hey, these are essential to the game." And I feel like once this, like, the supplements come out, it's like, this is all the stuff that the creators were like, I want to put this in the book, but we got to wait for, like, for the supplement to come out to throw in, like, these things that, like, I always look at it as the things that the creators were like, I want this. They're like, okay, well, we've got to get the general stuff out of the way in the the rule book, but don't worry, we'll have a chance to throw in, like, all these sick subclasses, archetypes, and everything. So I always look forward to it, and I'm particularly excited for these strong heroes we're going through tonight, just because, you know, you do have, like, a wide range of options in everyday heroes. Cracking open the vault and being like, well, brutal warrior, like street warrior, like, we're really getting down into, let's dive into the specifics of these, and it's another opportunity to show out, like, all of these options, and to have, like, all of these warrior options and have them all have their special touchstones. It's super dope. So I'm ready to dive right into this, man.
3 cheers.
let's do it.
Woo!
Ooh, someone should
Well,
take point on this one.
I I would very much love to do the Brutal Warrior.
Go for it. It's all you.
The Brutal Warrior was originally published under Cinematic Adventure, my favorite site. Huge history buff, love the Highlander franchise, and boy howdy, if you were ever wanted to do, say, a D20 modern D20 past setting, this class is made for being the Viking berserker, made for being this titanic, giant-sized guy in the middle of an old battlefield. Uh, the opening phrases are, "There was always a place for brutal warriors on the battlefields of antiquity, with the pure strength needed to batter through the defenses of weaker opponents. The brutal warrior is a nearly unstoppable force of destruction and mayhem, cutting down foes like a farmer cuts down grain." That's just beautiful. So
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. It's just, I can see that in my mind. So proficiencies. These guys get proficiency in strength and constitution, and they get to choose proficiency in 2 skills from the list of athletics, endurance, intimidation, medicine, and survival. And especially appropriate, since this really does come from the Highlander franchise rules. You start out with basic and historical equipment proficiencies, and the recommended equipment: a brutal warrior pack. They get their own pack, which we can go through a little bit later. And they recommend a great sword or a poleaxe. These massive 2-handed, just bulldozers of ancient and medieval weapons. And at first level, to go with the strong hero, the general strong hero reckless attack ability, the brutal warrior gets what's called brutal style. When they make a melee attack using a 2-handed weapon or using 2 hands with a versatile weapon, they get to add a brutality dice to the weapon damage if they hit. Now, once you get to second level, if you're using power attack with this, you double the number of brutality dice you roll if you hit with that power attack, in addition to the extra power attack damage. And for folks back home that to remember our episode last time, with power attack, you take a negative, I believe it's a -5 to your attack roll, but if you hit, you get a +10 damage. And at first and second level, your brutality die is 1d4. So that means if you're using the 2 hands with that versatile or 2-handed weapon, every time you hit, you get to add an extra d4 damage die to the roll. And at second level, if you use power attack, and you still hit even with that -5 penalty, you add a solid +10 and then add 2d4. This is meant to take you out fast. And then at third level, you get the 2 abilities. A talent that's called Drive Them Back. And with this one, after you hit and do damage to an opponent with a melee attack, you can use your bonus action to automatically force them to move 5 feet away from your position. No save, nothing. You just smack them and they go shuffling back 5 feet from the force of your attack. I love that.
It's so brutal.
And then you also get at third level. Oh, I love it. And that's exactly it. It's brutal. I love it. This guy is meant to dominate his area of the killing field. I mean, battlefield. Sorry. Freudian slip there. And then you get the Wear Them Down talent. Now, with this talent, when you miss an opponent with a melee attack using a two-handed weapon or versatile weapon with 2 hands, this is when you miss. You still get to roll your brutality dice and deal that much damage to your opponent. And this is whatever damage type the weapon usually does. Now, it specifically says that if you miss with a power attack, you don't double the brutality dice. You still just roll 1 brutality dice if you miss.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, at third level, that brutality die jumps from a 4-sided die to an 8-sided die. That's beautiful. And then 5th level, you get the talent of Advanced Combat Training. Once in your turn, when you take the attack action, you get to make 2 attacks as part of that one action. Beautiful, that little extra damage. And by the way, with the brutal style and there's no limit to the number of times you can use the brutal style. It's every hit. And same thing with Wear Them Down. If you miss and you got the 2 hands on the weapon, it's versatile two-handed, you do the extra damage. And then level 7, 2 talents, Bloodlust, and No More
Yummy.
Tricks. Oh yeah, it's this is raising the spice level of this jambalaya to a whole new level here. With Bloodlust, if you drop a foe to 0 hit points on your turn, you can take a bonus action to roll your brutality dice, and you gain temporary hit points equal to the brutality dice roll. You are just amped up with every foe that you put down.
Yeah.
This guy's a
If I
tank.
if I can interject,
Oh yeah,
at
please
level
do.
7, your brutality die becomes a D12.
Yeah.
So it's
Yes!
1d12 hit points.
And if you hit with a power attack, that's 2d12 added to the attack damage.
So if you power attack, that's 10 plus 2d12 plus the base weapon damage.
Bingo.
So if you're using a two-handed sword like a katana, that's a d10
Mm-hmm.
plus 2d12 plus 10.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Oh yeah.
and then
And plus your strength bonus.
right,
Yeah.
plus strength bonus, and oh my lord, if you crit, you just destroyed something.
I'm glad you mentioned crit because there was something I forgot to mention about the brutal style. Even starting at first level, when you score a critical hit, you roll all your brutality dice twice along with the normal weapon attack dice. And by the way, if you're doubling the number of brutality dice because you hit with a power attack and you crit, that means you roll those 2 additional die, that additional die also twice. So you're getting a massive amount of damage on a critical hit thanks to that brutality style there. Lots of dice getting
There's
rolled
no
for crit
way
strikes
you're
with brutal
not
style.
dropping your opponents left and right. Yeah, I mean, you're just
Oh yes, especially it's at level 7.
Yeah, you're guaranteed to rack up a body count.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh, yeah. I if somebody comes into your library with a late book, you just go and cut them right in half, like Conan the Librarian.
Conan the Librarian. I love it. I love that.
It's my next character.
Don't you know the Dewey Decimal System?
This is 2 days late. I love it. Love it. Now, there's one other talent you get at level 7, though, and that's called No More Tricks. Do you guys remember how the MMA fighter had advantage to defend against many special attack things?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So does the Brutal Warrior. Effectively, with this talent, the Brutal Warrior gets advantage on every ability check made to defend against special attacks like push, trip, disarm, and grapple. This guy is there to take you down and not put up with nonsense.
Unstoppable.
Truly, truly. Now, at level 9, your brutality die, because you're already at a 12-sided die at level 7, your brutality die, your normal brutality die, is now 2d8. That means you put 4d8 if you power attack and hit. And if you crit on that, that's 8d8.
That's
insane.
stronger than a power. That's more stronger than a first time fireball.
I tell you, that is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you
That's what
add
you
that.
said.
Oh, yeah. Office reference. I like it. Now, Michael Scott. We've got to stat out Michael Scott at some point.
Oh God, yes.
I'm guessing charming hero icon. But the 9th level talent that Brutal Warriors get is called Killing Spree. If you drop an opponent to 0 hit points on your turn, you can use your bonus action to make another melee attack on the same turn. And again, with all these damage die, like you guys said, there's no way you're not dropping somebody. Especially now that you have 2 base attacks with the attack action. So this guy's got a lot of possible bonus action things they can do, whether it's shoving someone back, giving themselves temporary hit points, or getting an extra attack just to spread the carnage a little bit more. I mean, this guy is your ancient warrior brute par excellence. I love this guy. In fact, I think I remember reading in the Highlander CA the Kurgan character from the first Highlander film, and I know we're going to go over these franchises later, but he was the inspiration for the Brutal Warrior.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
no doubt.
Every time you see Kurgan, I just think, "Give me the prize." It just plays in my head.
Another time, Highlander.
It's one of my favorite soundtracks. Is that
Beautiful
one?
soundtrack.
Yes.
And that's all I got for the Brutal Warrior. Passing the baton, so to speak.
Well, this is definitely like a class that you hand over if you're trying to get someone like into this game, someone who's like maybe new to tabletop games, who you're just like, I got to keep them invested by letting them roll a shitload of dice, take down some foes in the meantime. Like, you hand them the Brutal Warrior, it's like, hey, by the way, you're going to need all these dice with it. You're going to have a ton of opportunities to just lay waste to everything in your path. Like, this is someone who, because you always sell people, in my opinion, when you got someone new to tabletop games, you want to give them like a memorable session. You want to make sure that, and like, your way you do that is combat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, unless you've got a heavy role playing person, you're just like, hey, like, I'm going to give you an opportunity to kill everything I throw at you. And I'm going to give you a ton of opportunities to not be stopped by it. So, by the way, when someone tries to trip you, disarm you, you can just be like, no, I'll just roll with advantage on that instead. Like, this is definitely, it's a it's a simple class to play. A simple, it's just, it's nothing but opportunities to really flex this character.
Mm-hmm.
Truly.
Yeah, the Brutal Warriors, my first class that I made, and I think I've mentioned it before, but he's a chainsaw serial killer who's running around trying to kill some of the good immortals in a Highlander campaign, and he's been fun.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
So,
Two-handed chainsaw wielder. Love it.
Yeah, you. I'm gonna go off topic for a quick sec. You mentioned, the chainsaw wielding going into other immortals. We were playing a Vampire the Masquerade game where we had a Malkavian who was Native American who had a chainsaw, and that's how he would scout people.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
His
Whoa!
his name was Moonstruck.
That's a good
So
Malkavian name.
yeah, it just you said running around with a chainsaw taking out immortals, that it drew me to that because vampires were semi-immortal,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, the chainsaw thing was like, oh yeah, I remember about that character way back when.
And when we dive into to the origins, yeah, there's so many things you can do with that immortal origin. So many different
Mhm.
types of characters
Now
you can make.
Now remember, folks, the Immortal Origins is not for the ego organized play. That is for your home campaign or maybe a one shot. So, some of these classes are not ego approved. And you can see why, because, being an immortal would just kind of wreck it for everybody, not just Ralph.
Oh yeah.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
Love it.
You've got to earn some of these in ego.
Truth.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't have the vault, it's definitely worth your money to go invest in it. I'm going to say that
100%.
now.
It really is a must-have.
Which I don't.
Especially because when you have especially when you have the vault, it will unlock other options for you that are ego legal.
Mm.
And we'll definitely touch on those other classes. But I think early on, if you play through a few assignments, I think you get like the Motorhead pretty early. I think a Motorhead is available right away.
I'd have to check that. I've run the first 4 assignments, but I don't remember anything unlocking that at that point. But I'd have to go back and double check. It's been a while.
Yeah, you get it pretty early on, but yeah, you definitely want to get that vault so you can access all of that stuff. And like I said, these we said that these are all come from the cinematic adventures. So, you've got your 8 cinematic adventures. You can find these classes as they relate to those IPs, but you grab the vault and just smash them all into that book. You've got all of them. So,
Awesome product.
oh yeah. Product placement for the vault.
Yeah. Who's up next with the Street Warrior?
I would love to do the Street Warrior.
Go for it.
Okay. So we've got our Street Warrior, which, correct me if I'm wrong, comes out of the Escape from New York cinematic adventure.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Which I have opened up to here. And I love, each in the cinematic adventures as well. They'll throw a little quote for each of these classes. But for the Street Warrior one, the quote comes from none other than Snake Plissken, which is, "I don't give a fuck about your war or your president," which is just such a badass quote for the Street Warrior. And like I'm apt to do, I will relate any of these to other tabletop games that are known. The Street Warrior may as well, they could just pull it straight from Shadowrun and just call it the Street Samurai. This is your all around badass warrior. So much so that badass is a talent that you get right at first level. So our Street Warrior, the city's a concrete jungle. You seek to be its tiger. On the mean streets, only the tough survive, and only the strong rise to the top. That doesn't mean you have to be a monster, but it does mean you dare not show weakness. Failure is not an option. So your Street Warriors are your all-around fighter that can use nearly any weapon effectively. Determination talent means that bad luck and enemy attacks only make them increasingly dangerous. Taking wild risks for big damage almost always pays off at some point during the fight. So what's so sweet about this class is that putting yourself in harm's way, taking damage, actually ups your value. So you get your saving throw proficiencies in strength and constitution. You get to pick 2 of your skills from athletics, acrobatics, endurance, mechanics, intimidation, and streetwise. Right off the rip, you get basic, advanced, improvised, historical, and military equipment. You get everything. They recommend you take the punk pack, and weapons, her recommendation is any. So at first level, you get 2 talents. You get badass. You can always use strength instead of charisma when making intimidation ability checks. So you pump up your strength and you can intimidate anybody just by your sheer force. Determination, gain 1 point of determination when you fail an attack roll against an opponent in combat. You have a +1 bonus on attack rolls and a +2 bonus to weapon damage for each point of determination you have. So take damage so that you can get these determination points. When you hit an opponent with an attack in combat, you lose 1 point of determination if you have any. You lose all determination points at the end of a long rest. So burn them up, man. Use them. The maximum number of determination points you can accumulate is equal to your level. So just keep stacking those as you level up. At 3rd level, you get a resounding 3 talents. You get Rise Up. To rise up, you must have 1 or more determination points and at least 1 unspent hit die. When you succeed on a death saving throw, you can spend 1 or more determination points and spend an equal number of hit die to recover hit points. So, like, put yourself in a position to go down because you just don't go down. You add your Constitution modifier to the result of each hit die you roll, and then you take your turn. You'll regret that. You gain 1 determination point after failing a saving throw caused by an enemy's attack or hostile effect during combat. Once again, put yourself in the line of fire and make yourself viable. Try it and find out. As a bonus action, you can attempt to intimidate an opponent within 100 feet who can see or hear you. 100 feet is a ton of space on the battle map, as everybody knows. Make a contested strength intimidation check against a wisdom saving throw from your target. If you win the contest before the start of your next turn, the target's next attack has disadvantage against you. So, like, this is just a reckless class. Put yourself in a position to take damage. I love classes like this and abilities like this because I ran a D&D campaign where I had sorrow sworns left and right, and it was just like the party is just throwing attacks at them, and I love just being to reveal it's like, okay, well, now they attack with advantage, now they have extra damage. You lose by doing damage to this thing. So this Street Warrior is a great example of one of these classes that have these abilities. So at 5th level, you get your advanced combat training. Once during your turn, you take the attack action. You can make 2 attacks as part of that action. Great. Let me make 2 attacks. 7th, shrug it off. After failing a saving throw, you can use a reaction and spend a determination point to re-roll your saving throw. You can't use shrug it off, and you'll regret that on the same saving throw. So there's our checks and balances. I'm sorry, that's at 7th. At 7th, you also get ticked off. When you're hit for 15 or more points of damage from a single attack from an opponent, gain a determination point. So don't be too discouraged if you take a shitload of damage, because you're going to be able to use the ticked off ability and gain a determination point, which you can spend to just lay waste to anything in your path. So at 9th level, finally, you get just die already. So as an action, you can make a single attack by spending all of your determination points. The bonus to attack and damage is determined by the number of points spent up to the maximum shown on the table. Can't choose to spend fewer points than you have. Even if it is more than 6, you must spend all of them. So I'll just give you a range. So with spending 1 point, you get your +1 to attack, +1 to damage. Spending 6 points or more, +21 to attack, +42 to damage.
Yeah, for spending 1 point is actually +2 damage, not +1.
That's just for the just die already.
Yeah,
if all you
just
got's
for the
1
just die.
determination point, yeah. Whoa, that 42. Holy mac!
So it's basically just like a Hail Mary throw, and you're guaranteed a kill. So like this
Wow.
is your DPS, and if you build this character right, you have them tank and just remain unstoppable through combat. And like I said, this is your street samurai. So you would get all of the equipment, basic, advanced, improvised, historical, and military. So you have free run of any weapon that you want, all the way from you want to use pole arms, you want to use guns, you want to use whatever. It's like just take that and run with it. So it gives you a ton of opportunity to build whatever sort of warrior you want. Anything from your Shadowrun style street samurai, which I just noticed, like in the artwork, they literally have a samurai next to your street warrior, all the way to your Snake Plissken style, just badass. This is probably going to be my next strong hero build, I think, because I just love being able to walk like out into combat and be like, bring on the slings and arrows. Because like next round, like I'm coming back and I'm ruining your day.
Oh yeah. Going nuclear.
Yeah, go nuclear. These determination points are so awesome because you're so rarely rewarded for negative effects.
Yeah, if I was
like
gonna
usually, yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was saying it's just like usually you're stacking these pools with things like, all right, well, make an attack, land an attack, do this amount of damage. It's like, no, like when you fail is when you benefit, which I think is such a fun mechanic.
Not even necessarily fail, but when you take damage.
Well,
You
failing
know.
saving throws, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
the important thing to remember is, a part of this is when you fail a saving throw caused by a hostile effect. So that goes outside of the way I read it. Is it goes outside of just like direct damage or effects
Mm-hmm.
from NPCs itself, or opponents themselves. And it's any time that you're failing a saving throw, it could be a trap or anything like that. That's on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it does say
the
during
NPC.
combat though.
Like
But
if someone
I
charms you or
lay traps
frightens you in
during
combat,
Yeah,
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 I step
or
on a
if you get
landmine during
poisoned,
combat. Boom.
yep.
Yeah, get poisoned.
and you don't just get hurt, you get mad and you get even.
Yeah, it's like you're raging.
Yeah.
Truly.
I can't help but look at Brutal Warrior and Street Warrior and think of the whole scene from A Little Shop of Horrors where it's Steve Martin and Bill Murray, where Steve Martin's drilling into his teeth, and Bill Murray's like, "Ooh, give it,
Oh.
no, King."
I can see this in that character, yeah. Oh.
Yeah. If
So
you're
this will be a lot of fun. I think that we'll see a lot of play with the Street Warrior, especially when the armory comes out.
yeah.
Because
Agreed.
just you take your wealth level and just run through that armory and be like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. All you need is a place to put all this stuff. And if you're taking strength, you can carry a lot of shit. So get yourself a
No
backpack,
kidding.
throw a bunch of the weapons in there, and just you just get to test the armory out, really.
Start throwing some of those razor sharp hubcaps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would take just dumb weapons just because I could use them.
Yeah. Because this gal, they can turn anything into a weapon.
So this is going to be a fun one to. I'll definitely build one of these, especially when the vault comes out, and I'm just going to run through that book like a madman.
Here, here.
So that is our Street Warrior.
So our final one is Mutant Giant.
Mutant giant are
It's
extraordinary.
a good one.
Who wants
I
to
And
mean,
say?
the
unless someone else wants it, I'll take it.
Go ahead.
go for it.
All right.
For it.
So the mutant giant. I hear that and I kind of think Hulk smash.
And
Easy.
that's
So
definitely inspiration here.
Definitely.
you are a gigantic mutant who towers over humans and other mutants alike. Thanks to your incredible size and bulging muscles. Was this a romance novel? Pushing your small, weak enemies around is a simple task. You are an immovable boulder, and no one gets past you. It's like a bouncer at most clubs I know. Mutant giants are massive forces of melee power, and always the happiest on the front lines. They use their size and strength to bully enemies. Oh, who else could you bully? Knocking them down and throwing them about. Plus, they can deliver a serious pummeling. They aren't good with much else, but they rule the battlefield with their titanic size and power. So, we got proficiency, their strength and wisdom. Skills, you get to choose 2 from athletics, endurance, intimidation, streetwise, and survival. Your equipment is basic and improvised, because who doesn't like to grab a lamppost to smack somebody across the face with it?
Absolutely.
Hulking expertise. You gain expertise in either athletics or intimidation. Let's see. Equipment recommendations. Equipment pack, badass pack, and no weapons, because you are a weapon.
Yes, you are.
So
You are the Brute Squad.
I would suggest that maybe your characters were spandex for the muscly bits. It could be purple, it could be green, it could be brown, it could be blue. I don't know. Your choice.
You want to show off those muscles somehow, and what better
Yeah.
way than spandex?
Exactly. So now we got some talents here. For level 1, we've got 3, 4, woo,
Mhm.
5. We got 5 level 1 talents. That's unheard of. All right, let's see. Well, giant, obviously, because you're huge.
Right.
Your massive size. You stand 8 to 12 feet tall and are considered large size.
Whoa.
Mhm.
You take up a 10-foot space in combat. You can squeeze into a 5-foot space, but while doing so, you have disadvantage on attack rolls, dex checks, and dex saving throws. In addition, attack rolls against you have advantage. So you don't want to be in a tight space. You don't want to be between a rock and a hard place when you are the rock. Your maximum bulk is multiplied by 2. Not added, multiplied. You can ignore the two-handed property of weapons, and you can treat the stationary property as if it were the two-handed property instead. So you're saying I can hold a minigun? That's a little dangerous.
Yep.
Dangerous.
Not. You always treat it as if you were wielding 2 hands, even if you were not. You have advantage on strength checks made to lift or drag an object, such as a car or bus, as well as any ability check or saving throw made to avoid being moved. Ooh. And that's just your first talent.
Yeah. There's a lot packed in here. You effectively get 2 of the minor beneficial mutations from the mutations rules all in one here. With extras. I mean that wow.
All right, now we got one off the Three Stooges playbook. Knock heads. You are large enough to smash enemies into each other. As a special attack, you can attempt to bash 2 enemies together. Those enemies must be each smaller than you and within 5 feet of you. Make an opposed strength athletics check against each opponent's strength athletics or dex acrobatics check. You roll once and compare to both results. If you win against both enemies, you can damage them both as if you had hit them with your Titan Slam weapon, including your ability modifier. And if they aren't within 5 feet of each other, you move them within 5 feet of each other. Wow. So if they're not, then you just grab them and move them. Because you are large. You're 10 foot. You're 8 to 12 feet and take up 10 feet. Oh, let's see. You can use your reckless attack talent during this check as if it were an attack roll. Likewise, you can
Whoa.
use your power attack talent when making this check, suffering the penalty to your ability check instead of an attack roll. You add the damage to your unarmed damage, but the damage must be split between targets. You deal only 5 additional damage to each target you succeed. So you can use your power attack. You -5 off your ability roll, your strength athletics, and then you split the power attack 5 and 5. So that's not too bad.
That's still pretty good. Yeah. Especially for damaging 2 foes at once for a single special attack.
Yeah, no, that is pretty good. Let's see. We got the next one. Meaty. Your hit dice are increased by 1 die step from D10 to D12, which also increases your first level hit points by 2, and your average hit points per level by 1.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Meaty
Oh.
indeed.
Meaty.
Strongest there is.
Then we have puny humans. You are adept at using your size and strength to shove enemies around. You have advantage when ability checks made as part of a shove or trip special attack against an enemy smaller than you, which is going to be most of them, let's be honest. This does not apply to your knockhead talent. So you can move people around and, shove here, trip there. So that's a pretty good one too. And the last level 1, Titan Slam.
This is like coming up is going to be my favorite talent after this Titan Slam.
Your fists are gigantic. You have these Titan Slam weapons available to you at all times. You are proficient in this weapon. Note that while this is thematically similar to an unarmed strike, it does not count as an unarmed strike for the purpose of talents, feats, etc. You can still make unarmed strikes as normal using your feet, elbows, etc. So let's see. There's a little chart here. Weapon that says damage, range, PV, and properties. So for damage, the Titan Slam does 1d12 bludgeoning. Range is melee. It's got a penetration value of 2, and properties is heavy. So that's it for the level 1, and I mean that's a lot to get at first level. I think it's the most we've seen yet.
This is a very front-loaded class, and I love how the Titan Slam has a penetration value of 2. I mean, the average unarmed strike has a PV of 1. There's a lot of chances for the armor rules here to negate a dropping you to 0 hit points hit. This Titan Slam, wow.
This is why it falls in an extraordinary class.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely extraordinary.
So let's see. For level 3, we get 2. We get Mountain of Meat. That sounds like a good place to go eat.
Doesn't it, though? Good barbecue place.
Yeah, yeah. When an ally uses you as cover, attacks against them have disadvantage. So if one of your groups is a smart hero and, maybe like a scientist or a non-combatant, you can shield them and they will have disadvantage against them because you're meaty.
They hide behind you like a small child.
Yes. Then we have Titan Throw.
This is my favorite.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. It's pretty good. You're
You just
incredible.
ignore people as people and just use them as objects.
You know, it's kind of like in the Avengers movie when Hulk grabs Loki and just goes smack, 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 smack. That's what I envision with this. Your incredible muscles allow you to literally throw people around. As a special attack, throw an enemy that you have grappled, as long as they are smaller than you, as most, at a target.
Mhm.
Treat this as a thrown weapon attack with the following statistic. Depending on the size of the enemy, you are proficient with this weapon.
I love it.
If you hit both the target and the enemy you throw, take the full damage of the attack. And the target must make a strength saving throw DC equal to 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength modifier. Falling prone on a failed save. The thrown enemy automatically falls prone. If the attack misses, the thrown enemy must make a dexterity saving throw DC equal to 8 plus your proficiency bonus and your strength modifier. Taking damages if you had hit it with the attack on a failed save. Now, on the Titan Throw chart, oh, you know what? Hold on, there's a little bit more to this. Or half that damage on a successful one. Thrown enemy falls prone in the space of the target. You can also target a solid surface such as a wall or throw the enemy as far as you like. If you throw the enemy at a solid surface, make the attack against the defense of 10. If you throw them into the air, bowl them across the ground, or otherwise throw them into an empty space, simply treat the attack as if it had missed. Now,
Oh, that's beautiful.
back to the chart. All right, so your weapon size is tiny enemy, small enemy, medium, large, and huge enemy. Damage in order goes from 1d8, 1d10, 1d12 for a medium, 2d8 for large, and 48 for a huge, all bludgeoning. Ranges for tiny is 20-40, small is 15-30, medium is 10-20, as well as large and huge. Tiny has a PV of 1, small and medium have a PV of 2, and large and huge have a penetration value of 3.
That's insane.
Properties are all thrown. So, yeah, you're throwing a medium enemy, which is going to be most of your enemies. You get a range of 10/20 and a D12 bludgeoning. Now, can you use power attack with Titan Throw? Did it say that?
Unless it prohibits a
it
thrown weapon?
Right, power
It's
attack is melee only.
now,
Right.
yeah. Well, no, power attack can be used with a thrown weapon, but this is a special attack,
Yeah.
Right.
not a normal thrown weapon attack. So I think let me just double check. I've got the core book right here. Let me just double check quickly the wording of power attack. When making an attack with a melee weapon, including weapons that are thrown, yeah, the way it's worded, it makes me think that if it's a special attack from a class talent like this, the talent has to specify whether or not it can be used with power attack, kind of like the brutal style did for the brutal warrior.
Right.
But that's just my read on it. As with all RPGs, it's what you all feel is most fun for your table.
That's right. All
Definitely
right.
gives me some vibes from that first Avengers movie with Banner. Well, sorry, Hulk smashing Loki back and forth on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got an army. We've got a Hulk. You've got a what? And as with the other strong heroes, level 5, you get advanced combat training, so you get your 2 attacks. At level 7, you are too big to fail. Attacks tend to simply bounce off you. Increase your defense by 2. And then at 9th level,
Nice.
Titan Strength. enemies cannot withstand your incredible size and tremendous might. Again, smash. Your strength score increases by 4. Your maximum strength score also increases, allowing you to have up to 24 strength, which, if I remember correctly, is a +7.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wowzers.
Yeah. So make sure you drop your, your improvements in the strength to get that to 20 before you hit level 9. Because at level 9, your strength will go to 24. Oh, that's insane.
Score increases by 4 to a max of 24. It's just like, here's your ability. You're just stronger now.
Yeah, yeah.
And by that point, with the ability score increase, feat you could take at any given even number level, you'd most certainly be able to get a number of starting strength scores up to 20 before that, and then wow. Wow.
What a
If you,
class that's just like it's just like use anything that you can pick up. People can use you as cover, and you could just use like any of your opponents. Just use them as weapons.
Yeah, just fastball special, chuck them.
Yeah, just throw them around. It's like you're basically playing chess with your opponents and your allies.
yeah, all your
Ooh,
opponents are the pawns.
yeah.
Oh, man.
You're just like, I don't like the way this is set up. Looks like, someone's flanking over here. Scoop them up and I'll throw them 20 feet in the other direction.
Or you can bowl them. Remember, you can bowl
Yeah,
them.
just bolt to each other.
Bowling with baddies.
I would be intimidated if a player is using this in when I'm running a game. I'm just like, I have a whole new factor in here that I'm not going to know what to do with.
Yeah, see, at some point you're gonna have to have like his opposite for the bad guys to be able to counteract this a little bit to give him an actual challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Did we touch on what exactly the extraordinary classes are?
No.
We didn't actually. That's a
didn't.
we should probably do that.
Yeah. So what these extraordinary classes are, they lean heavily into themes and mechanics that assume advanced technology or some sort of magical power. When possible, we left the source of these extraordinary abilities open to interpretation so you can fit them perfectly into worlds of your own creation. So, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory as to what these extraordinary classes are. Like, they're sort of out of the realm of the norm. You have classes with psychic abilities. You have these mutants. These are things that maybe kind of leak outside the title of the game. Everyday heroes. These are not really your everyday things. I mean, these are. I mean, we're talking more about superheroes, which I think they all have a place in the system.
Absolutely.
But these are I mean, they're not. I mean, getting 5 abilities at level 1 and front loading these classes and having these um, sort of not and I wouldn't even call them overpowered. I think they're all balanced pretty well and are still usable in your setting. So to have these options and have them still run in whatever campaign or game that you're GMing or you're playing in, like I said, it's not like oh well, so and so is going to play an alien gadgeteer, so they're going to be the star of the show. No, I think it's balanced well enough that you find the right way to write it in. It all makes sense.
Full agreement. Absolutely. Yeah, because this guy can hit like a literal Mack truck, but he's not completely invincible. He is as vulnerable as any other character. He's got some really good skill here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you play your street warrior. Let this mutant giant throw you around.
If you really want a toned down
And
version, think of the Russian from the Punisher movie.
Yes,
yeah.
Well, know what you do is you get, if you're a player, convince one of your fellow players to play this mutant giant. You play the street warrior, and just stand next to him and be like, "All right, pitch me over into battle. I'll take this damage. Just throw
Oh,
me to the front line."
become the cannonball.
Yeah, what a duo.
Fastball special.
Oh, I love it. Oh, there are a lot of possible builds for a Wolverine type character in the Vault and the core book of Everyday Heroes, but all those determination points from getting hit. Ooh,
Yeah,
very Logan.
I forget what exactly what book it was, but there's the cover is Wolverine and Hulk like in like tuxedos. Why am I blanking?
I wanna
what
see
book
this
it was,
Incredible
but
Hulk.
there's your build right there. I
That
think it might
that's
be.
Is it?
I don't think that was in a movie. Are we talking about like the
No.
Not
comic
a
books?
movie.
It's a
Yeah,
comic.
it was in the comic books. I want to say it was maybe not Romita Jr., maybe it was Romita Sr. that did the cover.
Because when Hulk in the comics was in his Joe Fixit persona as sort of a Vegas pseudo mob guy, he wore a lot of the pinstripe suit situation, and Logan Logan can clean up, especially when he's got the whole patch situation going in Madripoor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm a huge comic nerd. I sorry about that. Huge comic nerd.
Oh, no,
I
you're good.
know
It's
the cover you're
Wolverine
talking
number
about.
8, Gray Hulk.
I want to say it's Incredible Hulk though.
I'm looking at it here. It's Wolverine.
It's Wolverine. Ah,
Yeah, Wolverine
wrong.
number 8. Chris Claremont.
there we go. Well, we're not all right. Got things a little wrong here.
We're all
That's
wrong.
all right.
We can all admit our mistakes. But so yeah, those are, I guess that polishes off our strong heroes from the core rulebook and the vault.
Yeah, and if I remember, all the extraordinary heroes with the mutant first part of the name, those come from the Total Recall cinematic adventure, which introduces the mutation rules.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was
Like-
thinking that, but I wasn't 100% sure on that, so I don't want to mention it and be wrong.
Absolutely, totally. You had it right. Absolutely. Ah,
That is one of the
Good.
CAs I did pick up for the sale before the license expired.
Good catch. Good catch.
That and Universal Soldier are what I picked up.
And we'll definitely be seeing some extraordinary situations from Universal Soldier too.
Almost certainly.
Yeah, I went a little crazy with that sale, and I bought secondary copies of all the CAs because
I heard
they're
that about you.
So I
Oh,
have them sitting pristine in the box because
You must
I
have saw them on
figured,
eBay.
well, yeah, I mean, there's that option. Or, down the line, as we start to go over these cinematic adventures, maybe we do a raffle for subscribers to the podcast.
Yeah.
We would need more
Ooh.
subscribers. What do we? I think we only have 26.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
number grows. Maybe a raffle starts to come up when we do the CA episodes. I don't know. It's
This
a
is why it's
possibility.
important to click the like and subscribe and share with your friends. Because I'd like
Yeah.
to do maybe the first one around like hundreds subscribers.
Yeah, because
That sounds
those
reasonable.
pristine copies are just sitting here in this box. I mean, I don't know. I got 2 copies of each of them. What am I gonna do?
Keep them sealed. They're now collector's items.
That's true. That's true. So that would make it quite a raffle.
It's a shame that like most of the conventions are done now because we could have thought about maybe getting them signed.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh.
true.
I mean, maybe we hold off on those for the raffle and see if we can get them signed
That would be
by
very cool.
the author or some of the people at EGG.
Yeah,
That sounds
So-
fantastic.
To a con.
Sounds legit.
I think they're going to be at PAX Unplugged, which I'm on the fence of going to, just because they don't know how to organize a con.
No.
So
I haven't been there since 2016 or 17. think
I
it was
went.
in Philly.
Was that no? It's always in Philly. It lives here.
It's always in Philly.
Cool.
Yes, it started here. It lives here, just like
Ah.
Origins lives in Columbus, at least
I
for
had a
now.
blast at it.
I went to the very first one, and there was a lot of standing in line, and not a lot of game playing. So, because they were used to running video game conventions, and if you've been to any other tabletop convention, they all, you sign up for your badge, and then you buy your game tickets.
Mhm.
So they don't do that. They don't have organized games like that.
Oh,
No, it's
So
first come, first
basically,
serve.
yeah, I think basically when I went down, I was playing Adventure League with my friend, and the first day, Friday, we were in line for 2.5 hours before we even got in the attempt to play a game. Saturday, they made 2 lines, and this is the Adventure League people who did this, whoever was running it back then. The one line was for your tier 1 stuff, 1 through 4. We were playing higher level characters, so the line was much, much shorter, and we got to play more. But unlike Gen Con and Origins, it's not like, okay, well, you buy your badge and then you go register for game. So I really don't understand how you run a gaming convention like that, where it's like, all willy-nilly, like, because you really can't account for people showing up at a game table. And that kind of puts a sour taste in my mouth on that, because I've was running 10 events at Origins and only about 4 of them went off. So I had
Ooh.
six slots wasted of time, and I couldn't go do something else.
That's rough.
Yeah. Now what I was running was only an hour at a time, so that it was okay. But I had a lot more free time than I wanted, so I
Yeah, 'cause you
calculated for
still have to
free
be
time.
there.
And I had people signed up for some of these games that just didn't show. So that happens too. Now, you were at Gen Con. Do you still buy your tickets for Gen Con?
Yes, after you get your badge, you can then, now that you've got the badge, you can start purchasing purchasing tickets to events.
Right. So
And yeah,
Origins a couple years ago went from, like, your badge was like $55 or $60, and then you would pay on average, $1 an hour for a game. So if you're playing a standard RPG, you're talking a 4-hour session, $4. Well, they increased the badge price to like $95 or like $80 at Early Bird, and then
oh,
all the tickets were now free, with the exception of like some special events or certain things. So
oh,
instead of paying like $50 or $55 and then like another $40 in games, it's all included in the badge. But now there's no consequence of like, oh, I signed up for a game and I just don't feel like showing up. So now you took that spot away from somebody that actually wanted to play that when you decided to flake out.
oh dear.
Yeah, so that's yes, exactly. It's frustrating. So, Eric asked me like, "Hey, would you want to run some events at PAX?" And I told him like, "Listen, this is my experience at PAX. Without them having game tickets, pre-registration for games, like I would love to run stuff, but what I really hate is my time being wasted. So if I'm like there and like no one shows up, well, now you just wasted my time. So I'm on the fence if I'm going to go or not. Now, if I go down, like if I decide to, and I'll go down, I'll say hi to everybody. I'm like, hey, if you guys need me to fill in, I'll be happy to do so.
Yeah,
You
keep it
need me to work. You want me to hang out at the booth, work the booth for a little bit? I'm happy to do so. But without having a schedule, that, like, okay, well, I know at 1 o'clock I've got a 4-hour session, and right now I've got 4 people signed up. I got 2 empty slots. Without that, I see it as, well, I'm just going to sit there. No one's going to come by. No one's going to play. And then I'm just wasting my time sitting here.
Yeah. Because like I said, you got to be available. So if you got the slot there, like you're like, all right, well, I got to be here in case they do show. And then it's just like, oh, well, I guess I'll just wait for the next slot and then see how that goes.
Right. Like if no one shows, like Origins wants you to wait like 10 minutes into the game. So if the game starts at 1:10, if no one shows, that's it. You're free. But
Similar over at Gen Con.
right.
Like 10, 15 minutes just in case people were running a little late. There was some traffic issues. Yeah.
Right. And Gen Con's much bigger than Origins. So, I can see that. But it's like, okay, you start a few minutes late. Hey, you plan for this. If everyone's not there, then you start your game. It's up to you if someone comes later and you want them in or not. So, but your event is scheduled. You have a schedule. So you have an itinerary. So it's not like all willy nilly and free spirited hippies just wandering around, just like following butterflies. That's how I look at it.
I did get the worst con crud of my life at PAX Unplugged doing like the testing. Like I remember like the next day I was like, oh well, like I want to sick after using the same board games as a billion people.
Yeah. Now I would say if any of you are going to show up to PAX, that would make me more inclined to go down. Like I would just get the 3-day badge. I'll take the Friday off, and I would come down because then we could all meet. We hang out a little bit, maybe get some gaming in.
That would be a lot of fun. That's not too far from me down here in Virginia. So
we could do the podcast in person. We could do a podcast in person, or maybe multiple. Like we pick, Friday or Saturday or Sunday, and we do one each day. And we could just grab people, like if they show up and do play some Ego or some of the CA events, and like, hey, have you ever played this before? What did you think? And interview them for the podcast, as well as having access to whoever's there from Evil Genius.
Jamming.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
That would be so much fun, man.
Let me check my work calendar and see what I've got available for.
I do believe it's the first weekend in December.
Yeah, it's the 6th to the 8th of December.
Okay.
I actually have a great story from when I went to PAX Unplugged. You guys read the Patrick Rothfuss books?
No.
Yeah, with the King Killer Chronicles.
Yeah,
I have not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like he's super like energetic, nice dude, and at the time, I guess like I just happened to go to his panel because my buddy wanted to go, and I hadn't read the books at the time. And I remember that people were waiting for a sequel to come out, and I guess it had been a while. And it was, it's one of these things where it's just like, I want the sequel so bad. I love the books. And I guess it's at this point, I'm sure he'd heard enough online of people like, please write the sequel, please write the sequel. So the panel goes to the Q&A, and he's pimping this charity that he does. I forget what it was for, but he was like, yeah, if you donate to this charity, then we'll do this and this. And it was like really like genuine, and I was like, that's really nice. And this girl gets up and she goes, how much money do we have to donate for you to write the next book? And like I saw this dude break because I could tell he was like, I've heard this question enough. And dude, he dressed this girl down in front of the entire panel.
Whoa.
He was basically like, that's a really shitty thing for you to ask. And I was sitting there like mouth agape, like, oh my, and like I could see this girl getting more and more red. And he's like, I have a life, I've got a family, I've got this and that. And this girl's immediately like, oh fuck, I wish I didn't ask this question. It was incredible, man. And like I remember my two buddies there, one guy who was like agreed with the girl, one guy who agreed with him, and they're arguing the whole rest of the night.
Oh man.
So I have a thought. if there's multiple of us that go to PAX. All right. And I'm pretty sure there's an open gaming area like most conventions. We could do a raffle. That we could have a few people come play with us. One of us could run a scenario, run a game, and we could have a couple of subscribers that are going to be there come play with us.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great idea, man. I would love to do that.
Or
some people,
maybe we can get one of the awesome GMs that show up to a con, or maybe one of the EGG staff like Sig or Brian that could run the game.
Ooh.
Ooh, I love that. Maybe do we record it?
I would say yes. I mean, we'd have to obviously get consent from the other participants.
Of course.
But
True.
if they say no, then we don't record it. But if they say yes, we record it. Or what we
Yeah.
do is we could do it twice
Please.
and do one for the, we do one that says this is going to be recorded. We're going to put this on the podcast. And then we could do one that, you just get to play with us. Not that we're famous or
love this
special or
idea.
anything, but, just throwing ideas out there.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
I'm the
liking
idea
this
guy.
more and more. I would love to get together with you guys up at con and shoot the shit, record, hang out.
How do you feel about Chinese food?
Most people know we've never met in person or even seen each other.
Nope.
This is true. Yeah, we met on the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, on the Evil Genius Discord. Yeah.
But how do you guys feel about Chinese food? Because the convention center is not far from Chinatown,
Ooh.
and there's some good
I like
Chinese
Chinese
food
food.
there.
I like Chinese food.
What's that train station called that has all the restaurants in there right next to the convention center?
Oh, it's not really a
Oh.
train station. It's called the Reading Terminal.
That's
That
what it's
would be
called. I know.
a good place to go. They have a lot of good food there.
And there's some good food.
I
in
went there
man.
once on a trip, and oh my goodness, what a smorgasbord of food they got over there.
Yeah.
Now
I
you
had
want
the
to talk
best
about
food in my life in
smorgasbord?
there.
If you guys in what I like to call the sticks of Pennsylvania, we have a smorgasbord called Shady Maple. And if you love breakfast, that is the time to go because they have everything. It's run by the Amish. It's all like all the food I believe is from the local Amish farms and stuff like that. And it's like I think it's like 13 or 14 bucks now for breakfast. Maybe 15, I'm not sure. I've been up there in a little while. The economy, everything goes up. But you want waffles, you want omelets, they'll make that stuff fresh right for you. Pancakes, you want bacon, you want sausage, you want turkey sausage, you want scrambled eggs, they have it all. And it's amazing.
They're cooking with that good butter too.
That too, because they churn it.
Yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah.
So
Let's talk more about
that is not
out,
close.
this would be awesome.
Yeah, that's a little bit. That's not near the city. It's like an hour and 20 minutes outside the city.
That's
So
a bit
that's
far.
like that is. So that's like a special trip unto itself.
Yeah.
But it is worth it. But as far as meeting up, we, I don't know how much FaceTime you guys have ever gotten with any of the Evil Genius guys. I got to talk to Dave quite a bit over Origins. Same thing with Sig. I didn't really get to talk to Brian. He was like busy. I never met Curtis. He is the lieutenant for the North. But he was there. Well, him and his wife live in Columbus. I just didn't actually get to run into them. So, who else did I? Haley. I got to talk to Haley a little bit. But yeah, so I mean, especially if you come to the con, like I said, they are having a presence. I believe they're going to have the booth there, so there will be, evil geniuses there. I'm sure Dave will probably be there. Dig will be there more than likely. I can't speak for fact, but these are the ones I normally see at the con. and out at Origins because I saw them out at Origins last year. So all before Ego was formed and built and everything else. So, we have ideas. We can hang out, we can get some food.
Do a little
You know,
gaming, a little
if
potting.
you maybe I could take you guys for a good cheesesteak, not Patrigino's. Trash. Trash. Yeah, if you
Indictment.
watch yeah. If you watch football, they always talk about or baseball, you're watching the Eagles or
Mhm.
the Phillies playing against your team, they always talk about Patrigino's. Well, they're crap. You only go there if you're a
Right.
tourist. No, really.
I
A real
I will
Philadelphian will
definitely
not go there. Like, oh, let's go to
I will
Pat's.
definitely
Like,
check my
why?
work schedule.
Oh, you want to go to Pat's or Gino's? Not going there. We go down to South Street. We can go to Jim's. We get Jim's steak or maybe some Lorenzo's pizza. We can. There's plenty of good cheesesteak places to go to, not Pat's or Gino's. They've been around a long time, but they're not good. They're tourist places.
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
dude. Yeah, let's see if we can make this happen because that would be a ton of fun, man. I'd love to do that.
And then if we're there, like I said, we could do a couple of podcasts, recordings. Maybe set up a live one, um, while we're there for a little bit, and we can grab, maybe Sig, maybe Brian, maybe Dave. To have some
Yes, he was
time,
there.
right? They're like, hey, if you guys have the time, we'd like to have you on the show while we're here, and we can do it live. And you know what? And I would actually concede if we could do it. I would even think about we go on camera and we could do video.
Yeah, dude.
So we could live broadcast video to YouTube.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for it. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely. I mean, we got some plans in the works to have some of the Evil Genius staff come on to the podcast here at some point. I was talking with Eric yesterday about it, especially when it comes to
Mhm.
The
the
ego.
ego
Yep.
program. Yeah, things
Oh
are
yeah.
unfolding nicely with that, and I'd love, especially to have uh, Eric come on and talk a little bit about ego because that dude works so hard on this
He
on the
does.
organized
He
play work,
does.
man,
A
dude.
and it's
Like
a lot to keep
he's
track
that
of.
dude has got. Oh man, it's a huge undertaking, and Eric works incredibly hard. He's like so attentive to anyone who's GMing, anyone who's volunteering. He's
Yeah.
just like a delightful dude, man.
Yeah. I gotta finish going over the field guide that he sent out to a few people to take a look at.
Yeah, I read
I
over
was one
through
of
it,
them.
took
He's
some
like,
notes
hey,
for
would
him.
you mind looking at this? I'm like, all right, I'll make time to do it. And I'm most of the way through it. And then he just sent me a link to, put feedback into. So,
Yeah,
but, I'll be doing that, within the next couple of days. But so far, everything looks
yeah.
pretty good
It looks
from what I
great, man.
read.
All that info in one place. Yeah,
Oh,
he sent
yeah.
it over to me, and I sent him a few notes about it, and it's really coming into its own. So I hope we'll see that finalized and everything, and get that out to people because the ego program came out, and the information was kind of, it was between the Discord, it was between the Evil Genius website. It's like, okay, well, here's the play rules for it, but go to the Discord for this, and it's all sort of coming together. And to have all of the rules for play, if whether you're doing it at cons, whether you're doing it from home, online, that's all going to be in that document once if it's all approved and everything. And so, yeah, I was
Yeah.
happy to send him notes and help out any way I can with that.
Yeah. It looks like the rank names are changing. I don't know
Yes,
if you noticed
because
that in there.
yeah, well, the reasoning is that the whole storyline for Ego was going to be a little bit different, which is why they were called
Mhm.
minions and lieutenants and assassins, just because initially it was going to be that the players were like more like villainous, and where I forget exactly what the wording was, but it was like you were being like given an opportunity to. I have the notes here
Redeem
somewhere.
yourself.
Yeah, and that's why it was called redemption. You had a chance to redeem yourself, and it's over time the story is leaned more into, you know, you're working for this clandestine organization, and so yeah, they're changing the name of the roles. All of that is going to be uniform across, you know, the website, across the Discord, everything. So like I said, man, Eric's
Cool.
working his tail off to get all this, you know,
I'm gonna
finalized.
have
and
to
program ready.
email Haley because I've been dragging my feet. So I saw her at Origins. I'm like, hey, can I get a couple of shirts? You know, it says Evil GM, and I'm like, I'm a minion. She's like, oh yes, I'll send you some. And I'm like, kind of like drug my feet. So before they start making new T-shirts, I need to get the old ones.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I never grabbed up a T-shirt either. So
Are you listed as a minion?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Because like I said, I saw her at Origins. So I mean, if you make it for PAX and she's there, you can always talk to her there.
yeah. I need to get up to a con. It's my schedule's been insane this past year, so I need to get my ass to a con and see these people in person. It's all been over the intranets,
Yeah, the interwebs.
over the
Nice.
interwebs.
Right now we're not real people. We're just ones and zeros.
Yeah, that's all we are. Well, that's
People,
okay.
people, 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 people.
Damn it,
We're just
Rosie.
streams through.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should
man.
definitely, you know, if we can arrange it, I'm down to go to PAX if we're gonna have a few or all of us there, if it would work out that way.
Yeah, it's
You
around the
know,
corner. I'll be able to plan it out.
I don't even need to play anything. Like I don't, if I'm gonna be there anyway, I'm down to run stuff. I'm down to work at the booth. I'm like, just come and hang out.
Yeah, I'd
We'll
love to
talk to you
just
about
get that on.
we'll talk to you about ego. Oh, you're interested in this? What do you want to know about? Oh, you've never heard about Everyday Heroes? Really? No, no, we're gonna have to change that. I'll have to go into
Yeah,
full sales mode for that. I
definitely.
did it. My one buddy was running something. He had it. He had his own. He was making his own rules back in 3.5 for his own game, and I started grabbing. He had a game that he had like one or two people, and people are starting to look at this giant ship he had, and I'm like, hey, blah 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 blah. I started recruiting players for him. I'm like, come on, play this. You got some time. You got to leave early. That's fine. Just come, try it out. And
Oh,
getting getting it exposed in a good way, not a bad way. Not like you end up in court. Not like people Herman.
Right.
I have
I will definitely take a look at the work schedule and see if I can at least make it up for at least one part of that weekend.
yeah.
Yeah, even
It
if you
would
can
be,
just make it for like
yeah.
Saturday and the Sunday, just like the weekend. You can't make
'Cause,
Friday, you got to work or whatever. But if you could do Saturday and the Sunday,
'cause it'd be great to meet you guys in person and do a little literal tabletop gaming.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what we're here
All
for.
right. Here.
yeah,
Yeah,
that would. I think
we'll
that
do our plans away from the prying ears of the listeners, and we'll see if we
yeah,
can make some
y-
movement on it.
we don't need any stalkers. All right. I haven't
Yeah,
had one, and if you're cute, attractive, blonde or brunette or redhead, even I'm okay. But just
yeah. I mean, they're
you
basically
know,
eavesdropping at this point.
I know, right? Yeah, I need
Well,
to
hell
stop
yeah.
going off topic.
This is what we do. We end up making plans here at the end of the podcast.
But maybe it'll give some people like, hey, listen, if you're on the fence, once we figure everything out, we'll announce it on the podcast. We'll be there. Then you should
Yeah,
definitely
you
come,
could
say hi.
come meet us.
Maybe we talk to Dave or Haley and say, maybe we, depending on the size of their booth, if we could hang out there and like, hey, come, say hi. We'll talk. We'll talk Everyday Heroes. We'll talk Ego.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll
you can
grab a
see us
few
at
of you
work
just to
and go off
interview.
topic.
Yes, yes, that's my favorite thing to do is go off topic. Maybe I should change
Yeah,
my
that's
name to
what we
off
do.
topic.
It's kind of our thing. We'll talk. We'll We'll talk Eric.
Eric Roberts movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric Roberts. Yep. Best
We'll
of the
talk
best.
Eric Roberts.
Have you guys watched Best of the Best yet?
Not yet.
Not as yet. No.
That's the ultimate
We'll
goal.
have to
is
play
get
catch
Eric
up.
Roberts on the podcast.
I'll bring my laptop down and I'll stream it from my Plex. We can all watch on it. It's a 15-inch screen.
Come watch us pine over Eric Roberts.
Yes. Yeah.
Shit.
Lovely.
True fact. Eric Roberts believes in aliens.
Eric Roberts is Julia Roberts' brother.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Julia Roberts' brother. Yeah.
What,
They have
how do you
another
think he gets
sister
jobs?
that is an actress. She's kind of more of like a background actress, but they actually have another sister who's an actress.
But yeah,
Cool.
how do you think he gets work? He's got to ride his sister's coattails.
Oh.
I mean,
He does, now
obviously,
that I
some
look at a
movies.
picture of him, I can see it.
Yeah.
45 facts about Eric Roberts.
Welcome to the
He is
Everyday Eric Roberts podcast.
So here we go. There's a whole bunch of jokes about Chuck Norris. For us, it's Eric Roberts.
That said, I am a huge Chuck Norris fan.
Who isn't?
I tell you.
One roundhouse kick from Chuck Norris can power the island of Australia for a year.
Remember when there was a fascination with Chuck Norris? Like it was. He came into the public eye at a weird time, and people were obsessed with Chuck Norris.
Truly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would he be an agile hero?
Oh, he'd be all the heroes.
Ooh, I think.
Yes.
I think praise the Lord, he would be everything.
Yes.
Because
he would be the evil genius.
Oh,
that's Dave.
He would be. Oh, the last character class we do would probably be like the everyday hero, the bonus class.
That would be Chuck Norris.
Yeah,
I can see Chuck Norris with using that to get like every single one of the strong, agile, and tough hero starting situations, either through feats or whichever one you choose at the start, and then working in some charming hero and wise hero situations. Heck, even the smart strategist, yeah, he'd be multi-class to the hilt.
Yeah,
every stat is a saving
throw. His class, Chuck Norris.
Yes.
He gets his own book. It just says see everything in every other book. That's what he gets at every level.
Yeah.
He could show rattlesnakes running away from his picture because the rattlesnakes know better than to bite Chuck Norris.
100%.
He gets Titan throw.
Yes.
He is Titan throw.
Well, what do you think, boys? Should we close it out here and
yeah, that sounds pretty good.
This seems like a good place to
wrap it up.
Yeah.
Eric Roberts.
Next time, the Agile Heroes. Yeah.
Woohoo! Ooh.
I love it.
So I'm not too
I like
sure.
it. I love it. Mm-hmm.
With the next episode, are we going to be doing the special movie review?
Oh yeah, that's right. The Crow movie.
That's right, because the Crow is the reboot's coming out.
That comes out on the 25th.
Yeah, this weekend.
Hold on, what's today? Today's the 22nd, so maybe I must be tomorrow then the 23rd.
Yeah.
Because the 25th would be Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's I guess we'll play it by ear. If we can squeeze in the review, I mean, we could almost have it be like a sub episode where we do a
Yeah.
review, and then yeah, I guess it'll be a surprise what the next episode will be. It'll either be Agile Heroes or the Crow review.
Or some Gen
So
Con
Tune in next time,
interviews.
listeners.
Whichever one,
or
whichever
Gen
comes
Con
down the
review,
pipeline.
Well-
first.
or
Oh,
an
what
all
you-
Eric Roberts episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should save that for a little while.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Like,
I mean,
that sounds like that's like an anniversary episode.
yes.
yeah. I mean, we could hold off on the Agile. You guys can do the Crow review and the Gen Con as one episode.
Ah.
So we
just
split it with
do
the review of
Gen
the Crow, and then you
review,
do Gen
yeah.
Con, and then go into the Crow.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm down
Or
for
we just do it
that.
as an additional special episode.
Yeah, yeah.
Also good.
Yeah. I'm here for that.
All right.
Yeah. We got quite the menu ahead.
Yeah.
We do.
We have plenty of ideas. We talked about a lot of off-topic stuff, and you know that's the second half of the show is the off-topic world.
Yes.
Off-topic,
The
and
second
how do we
half of
try it?
every episode.
Yeah, and how do we try and tie it into everyday heroes? That's what it is.
Yep.
Yes. 100%.
So, yeah, I think that should probably do it for this week's episode.
yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Yep. Good night.
Hey, wanna bring it home,
Yeah.
Robarian?
Yep. So
I no longer
everybody.
hear the crickets.
Oh yeah. Well, that's our audience.
They all tuned out about a half hour ago.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how they always say.
I hope not.
I hope not
Sig is
either.
the only one who listens to the end.
Thank you, Sig. I don't
Thank
know.
you, Sig.
I don't know how much Dave listens to us. I know did the first episode. I don't know if he listens to anything after that.
Oh,
I'll have to pass from
I'm
the
sure they give us a
Discord.
good, I'm sure they give us a fair hearing. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Oh yeah. Rather.
So, yep, that'll do it for this week.
That's a
We'll
wrap.
see what the crazy adventures for next episode bring. Only the shadow knows.
Only the shadow knows.
Well, here comes the midnight train going anywhere.
Georgia.
And so with that, folks, thank you for joining us. Redemption HQ. And this was Strong Heroes Part 2. And we will see you soon. Good night.